This is John Patterson conducting a pre-conference with Jackie Schneider. Hi, Jackie.
Hi.
How you doing today?
I'm doing good. How about you?
Good. We're going to kind of discuss your T-test goals and what you're going to be doing in class tomorrow for your formal observation. Okay. Looking at your T-test goals, notice that you picked 2.4, which is differentiation, and 4.3, which is professional development. Okay. Can you discuss T-test goal 2.4 differentiation and why you picked that goal?
Yes. So I have sheltered students, and I think it's important to meet the needs of those students with differentiation. They are diverse learners, and so they need some scaffolding. They need help, and I think it's important to have that as my goal because we are designing lessons to meet the needs of the students, and this helps me stay focused with that in mind. Every time I'm designing a lesson, I'm always thinking of the needs of my students, whether they need to be front-loaded with vocabulary. Once they take a quiz, I take that data and then I go back and reteach if I need, clarify. I look at all of the information that the students are giving me to change up the lesson and meet them where they are.
Okay, good, thank you. So as we agreed upon, I'll be coming into your second period class tomorrow.
Yes.
Can you kind of talk about that class and what the student needs look like in that class?
Yes, so it is sheltered and it is mixed. So I have two rosters. One is level US history, mostly 11th grade, and they are either first year or second year monitored EL students or just plain regular. And then there is a second roster with a handful of intermediate advanced students, and they're going to be working in groups tomorrow, so that is one way that I meet their needs. They're going to be working in groups, and what else did you...
That's pretty much just kind of discussing the needs of that
Okay.
class period. Yep.
So the class period in particular, there's some higher level learners in there, so they are going to be in groups. They're going to be in randomized groups. So I'm not letting them pick their own groups because they are a group of diverse learners. I know where certain ones need to go. I know who should be working with who, and I'm going to be purposefully partnering them tomorrow's activity.
Good. Gotcha. Awesome. Talking about those higher level learners that you have in there, will there be any extension activities for them in your lesson tomorrow?
Yes, there will be. Yeah,
Okay.
They will have the opportunity, if time allows, to take their learning further, and some of those enrichment activities are still being developed. So it's not not an entirely new assignment, but just to kind of support them.
Good.
So I'm still working on the timing for that.
Okay, good. Okay, now on to the T-test goal 4.3, professional development. The teacher enhances the professional community. Can you kind of talk to us why you picked that goal?
It is my first year as the master teacher, and I knew I would be tasked with coaching and with everything that comes with being a master teacher. And so I thought this would be a good goal to kind of keep me focused and keep me on that path, and to also develop me as a professional.
Good, awesome. All right, kind of looking at your T-test goals and just overall, what areas do you wish to improve on this year?
So this year, part of it, a big one was the professional development. I had conducted a professional development last year, and it was one and done, and that was it. But I learned a lot, and so I wanted to, I thought it would be important for people to hear from their peers and learn from their peers instead of just having somebody up there talking. So using that, that's why it's important to me, but to keep growing also as a professional. So I've conducted some PLCs and then some professional developments on the side, and it's interesting to see how people are using it. They're taking what the information and the content, and they're using it back in their classrooms, and I can go and coach them or observe them and give them any feedback, which is a part of it too. So it's been good so far. But that helps me also as a professional.
Good, awesome. So considering your new role as the master teacher, where would you like to see that role go in the future?
Oh, wow. Well, because it's the first year, I guess I'd like to see it branch out onto other campuses. So right now, there's a lot of experimenting and troubleshooting, and I think seeing it branch out into other campuses that are in need of that, that see a need for it. So
would you be willing to consider professional development in helping implement a master teacher program in the other high schools in the school district?
Wow. Yeah, that's actually a really good idea. So because we're the only campus that's doing it, a lot of people are coming to us from the other high school campuses in the district and asking us what it's about, what are we doing, and we've had some hiccups, we've had some bumps, but we're learning from them. And so that's something that I see a lot of value in, just like a roundtable discussion of here's what our experience as the role of the master teacher, and then we also have campus specialists in their role and how we work together, and then how we're different, because we are still in the classroom, we're still classroom teachers, we still have grading, but then we're also coaching and developing others. So
good.
Yeah, that would be something.
Awesome. Glad to hear that. Okay. All right. So considering your T-test goals, what will your students be learning tomorrow?
So they are going to be digging into the roots of the Cold War. Okay. So I have front-loaded with vocabulary, visual vocab. They've taken a quiz so I can see what they're low on and what they didn't get. And I'm going to provide those supports tomorrow by making sure the student groups that have the low content, that they're supported, that they have the extra. Students are going to be teaching their peers tomorrow, so while I'm going to be providing them support and ensuring that they have the proper content information, content knowledge, they are going to be presenting it to their peers, and their peers are going to be getting that information from their peers.
Cool, good, thank you. All right, so if you can, elaborate on what learning will look like in your lesson tomorrow.
Oh, that's a good question. The success criteria is going to be students being able to articulate how the United States responded to Soviet aggression. Okay. So there's certain things they need to know, and I don't know if you want to know those terms. That's what you're looking for, like how the United States responded. So the students should be able to say that we responded by with the space race, the arms race, the Berlin airlift, NATO. Those are all the terms that I'm looking for that they can articulate and say, this is how we responded to the Soviets being so aggressive.
Okay, good. How will you assess that success criteria tomorrow?
So it might be, what's tomorrow, Wednesday? So it might be really assessed on Thursday during the warm-up. But they're going to be teaching each other, and it's going to be a lot of listening. I'm going to be listening to the conversations that they're having, and they're reading passages, and there's processing questions. So if each group gets their processing question, I'm going to check it. I'm going to check in with them, and then they're going to teach the class. Gotcha. So the warm-up on Thursday will bring it all together to see how they to assess them.
Cool. All right, how do you typically begin a lesson, usually? Like, what can we expect tomorrow in the first 5 minutes of the
first 5 minutes.
Class period?
So the first 5 minutes tomorrow will be a warm-up, usually refreshing of the previous day's content. Tomorrow will be a political cartoon. And they will be analyzing a political cartoon based on the Cold War and the United States' role in it. And then from there, we will break out into groups, and they will get to work.
Okay, good, awesome. So typically, just kind of getting a feel for your classroom. What does differentiation typically look like in your classroom?
It varies activity to activity.
Okay.
So it can range from a list of words that I have I've read through all of the activities, and if I feel there's some words students are going to struggle with, I'm anticipating that, I will pull them out and I'll have them defined with a picture. Mm-hmm. We also have an anticipation guide for some of our other activities where, again, I go through it and I know they're going to struggle with some things, and it's there for them either in a shorter version. Abbreviated text is another differentiated accommodation. And like I said, I scaffold, so I take a little bit longer. And a lot of the I do, we do, you do. So we started out this topic or unit of study with vocabulary and a little bit of a pre-assessment from their world history, just verbally asking them randomly, like, what do you know about this? What do you remember of this? Look at this. What does that make you think of? Just to see where they were. And then the vocabulary was taken very slowly. It was not done on their own. We took it together. So that's the I do. I showed them what I wanted. And then they did it today. And so, slow release.
Okay.
A lot of the information is also chunked.
Good.
So it's not a lot of scrolling in pages. It is very short passages or short, images or charts or graphs or bulleted lists that they're looking at.
Good.
And that is the only thing they have to focus on.
Awesome, cool. So considering you have a sheltered class, can you kind of talk to me about how you use your language objectives and kind of how you work those into your lessons?
Yeah, sure. So it is the law that we have the ELPS and the success criteria, or as a success criteria. So I use a lot of images, and the students have the opportunity to draw to demonstrate their knowledge. Mm-hmm. So also using newly acquired vocabulary in the classroom. That is one of the ELPs that I use a lot. So here's their new word. We just learned it. We looked at the picture. We watched a video. Now, what is your understanding of it? And so with Nearpod, they can draw pictures, or even on their own foldable, their graphic organizer, which is another way. I use a lot of graphic organizers and foldables for them to take their notes on.
Good,
So.
Awesome. 2 questions and we'll be done. What are you most looking forward to tomorrow?
I am most looking forward to the students teaching each other, because if you can teach it to somebody else, you know it.
All right, good.
Yeah.
Awesome. And then last question, what strengths do you have as a teacher?
I would say today this has come to my, attention, that building relationships with students. I saw that today, and somebody pointed it out to me. I would not have said that, but today it was pointed out that because of the relationships that I've built with kids, my classroom is managed well, and that's what I attribute it to. Is the relationships that I have with the students.
Yeah. So in your opinion, how important are the relationships to your overall classroom environment?
The most important.
Most important?
Most important. That's the most important thing.
Good.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
Well, that's it, Jackie. Really appreciate it. Thank you for
Thank you so
coming by.
much.